Magnus Racing Lamborghini Huracan Evo that pulls out onto the track. Actually, that's not an Evo, is it? That car, that's a standard version of the machine. Audi coming out at the back as well. So, how slippery is it going up to the keyhole, Jeremy? I suppose we're going to find out in about 10 seconds.
Has to be an Evo, doesn't it?
Does it?
I think so.
Is it the Evo? I thought the Evo had the bigger air intake on the top. But okay. Is that the change for the Super Trophy, or maybe I'm getting my Huracans mixed up? I must look at the pair I've got in the garage to see which one's which when I get back home. If only. Well, it's slippery.
It's lifetime.
Yes. Someone else's life, I think. The WeatherTech qualifying session, as per Rule 40.1.3, declared by the race director as flexible. Now, that means you do have, at the drop of the green flag and before you roll out of the pit lane, you have the choice of either wet weather Michelin tyres or slick tyres. But once you're on the circuit, Jeremy, that's it. There can be nothing done to the cars. You can't even bleed pressure from the tyres. The car cannot be touched.
No, so the decision's got to be made in advance before the car goes out onto the racetrack. And we're hearing that pretty much everybody is going to be on slick tyres. But I would not expect the lap record here in qualifying that was set last season by Jack Hawksworth to be under any kind of pressure at all. 1 minute 19.3 is that standard that was set by the Englishman last season. The fastest time we've seen in practice came this morning at a 1:21.8, so a couple and a half seconds away from that. The best time was turned by Trent Hinman in that Meyer-Shank Racing with Kerbagger Jane Cunner 86, the Acura NSX GT3. And for Michael Shank Racing, or Meyer-Shank Racing, excuse me, this is the team's home race, based just on the east side of Columbus, so a little more than an hour's drive away. And with Acura 2, as Trent Hinman slips well wide there on the exit of the keyhole onto the dirt, that's not going to help with the grip as he heads down the back straight. With Acura also having a major base particularly for the NSX in Marysville, Ohio, also about an hour away from here. We get a replay of Trent Hinman overcooking it on the exit of turn 2.
Yeah, and that wasn't water related. He was just on the wrong line coming out there. That wasn't the car sliding on the water that's running there. And it's same part of the track. This is the 33 Mercedes who's had an issue. And who brought the Wins car out? Was it Ben? It was Ben Keating. Now that, I'm guessing that was a water-related incident. You'll have got on the power just a bit too more.
There is a river of water actually there, John, running across the road from so after the apex, the second apex of the keyhole. So it is really, really treacherous down there.
It's slippery right on the inside. He was following the 63, and he comes out and loses it on the water. Now that's not what Trent did. Trent just was on a slightly wider line and ran out of room on the exit. We've seen a lot of people struggling at that part of the track. There's also a little weeper just turning into 12.
I'll tell you what,
Ben Keating's got on with it. He's managed to get on the track and continue.
Even with that off, Trent Hinman went purple in all three sectors.
First guy out, wasn't he?
He's the first guy to set a lap time so far, so he is therefore at the top.
Welcome to McLaren and to the 720S. First time we've seen this car in qualifying for the Michelin Pilot Challenge. The Compass 360 team running in their dark grey and orange colours. But squint just a little bit, particularly when that car's coming towards you. It does have the look of a Lark F1 McLaren GTR for my money. Particularly the way the dark colour emphasises the shape of the cockpit itself. It's a great looking car, and they're feeling pretty confident. Matt Plum is on qualifying duties for the 76 car as he's about to go onto his first flying lap at the end of this one. Porsche in second, Zachary Robichon with a 1:37, but nowhere near the 1:34 of Trent Hinman, who's on another good lap. I think Trent wants to get out there, do a couple of really good laps, and then park that car.
I mean, that's stunning. I mean, absolutely, really impressive.
Oh, there's the 73 Park Place car off, and that's Marco Seefried, and he's just tagged the wall.
I think he got away with it, John.
Do you think?
I do.
Just coming out of turn 2 again, Jeremy.
Just.
And he was great in the wet yesterday. He was great in the wet yesterday. Coming out of turn 2, runs wide again, And then, he lost it on the up change. Coming out of turn 2, the car snapped left. I've not seen that happen before. Did he just scrape the barrier? So it's not the river.
Well, it is.
It was. Sorry,
He
I
overcorrected.
didn't see. Yes, I didn't see the big slide that he got in the river. I thought that was the up change. Is it a little ding on the wall? I think it was. But he's managed to keep going. Wow. This is really squeaky time for everyone. There's a good set of hardy spectators in the bleachers just on the outside of turn 2, and they're seeing all the action at the moment.
Trent
And there's
Hinman,
another one.
Same thing for Zachary Robichaud. Trent Hinman did improve on that second lap at 132.689, but Zachary Robichaud a 130.748 for the FAF Porsche in car number 9. Brilliant lap there by Zachary Robichaud, and he now leads by 1.9 seconds over Hinman, who's on a better lap right now. Robbie Foley up into second place for Turner Motorsports in the number 96 BMW, but still a second and a half away from Robbie Foley. Where is Trent Hinman?
And watch out for the number 14, Richard Heistand. He's been brilliant. Really impressed with him in the Lexus. He's on a decent lap as well at the moment. He'll improve. There goes Robbie Foley. There's Hinman back up into second place, but he's still 1.2 seconds behind the Porsche. This is Porsche weather. In fairness, this is proper traditional Porsche grip levels. Get that all that weight over the back axle.
Particularly for somebody like Robichaud, who's from Quebec and does a lot of ice and snow driving, instructing in these very slippery conditions. So he's kind of used to the car moving around a lot, and that was certainly moving around a lot as he came out of the keyhole last time around.
It obviously has no fear for him, Jeremy. He's very experienced
Quicker
in rear-engine Porsches.
129.880 for Zachary Robichaud in car number 9. The second best is Trent Hinman at a 132.0.
Red flag. Red flag is out. So that's a problem on the racetrack, and let's see if we can pick up where that is for you. And it was the, I think it might have been the Turner BMW. No, it's the 73 off again at turn 2. 73 is off again at turn 2. We almost had that earlier on. So that's Marco Seefried. He got away with it the first time of asking, but the second time he's parked it closer to the barriers, and it's a carbon copy of what happened before. Got the slide on, and then he's on the grass. And so did he not get out of there altogether? No, that's a second.
He did the same again.
I think that's a second crack at it.
I think you're right,
to
John.
be honest. Shea Adam down in the pit lane. I mentioned Turner. I saw them sneaking into the pit lane. I don't think they had actually gone off, but they've not read the rule book.
Nope, because instead of stopping in their box, they sent Robbie straight down to the pit exit, and that is not good, because as soon as we go back to green, it means that they're going to have a drive-through penalty to serve.
Right, just to confirm, that was the original incident from Seefried.
Oh.
The car didn't move. So, and Compass with the 76 McLaren have gone down to the end of the pit lane, so they're going to have to do a drive-through as well within 3 laps of getting restarted. So that's a no-no. And that looks like another car in there. Is that the Lone Star car? Yes, it is. And Faf as well, with Zachary Robichaud. These guys should know better than this. Qualifying, you go back to your... And they're being told that by the official. You go back to your pit box and wait for the green flag. So just to confirm, one incident for Marco Seefried. He couldn't get out of the valley that he dropped into. So just to save his blushes slightly, couldn't quite catch the tank slapper. So all the cars that are sitting in the fast lane, including now being joined by the 44 of Magnus, are all going to get drive-throughs as soon as we go back green. And that could, well, if they're sensible, they'll stay out, they'll do 1 flying lap, possibly 2, and then they'll come back in to do the drive-through. Because if they do the drive-through, they won't have time to do another quick lap. So good news for Marco is he is back underway. He will come back into the pit lane, and he'll be being told at the moment, come straight back into your pit stall. And as soon as we get the safety vehicles back on behind the safety barriers, we'll be back underway. Now,
the good news is there's not an awful lot of grass in the air intake there, because he mainly went off backwards.
Green flag. Green flag has been thrown. And so that's great. And the reason, I was just about to mention this, the reason that green flag has been thrown is to ensure we get the best chance of getting the amount of time under green flag required to make this a live session. That's great race direction. Again, Jeremy, the car that is on its way back will come back in the pit lane and park back up again.
Yeah, and that's that car's fault. He was the one who caused the wreck, so
Shea Adam looking at incidents in the pit lane. Shea, what's happened?
Richard Heistand did not fully accelerate when he went into the fast lane, and as a matter of fact, he brake checked the cars behind him, trying to give himself a bit of a gap, but he wasn't yet out of the pit lane, and you are not allowed to change your speed when you were in the fast lane, so that should be a penalty for Richard Heistand as well.
Thanks, Shea. So here we will wait for the penalties to be called for the guys sitting in the fast lane. They should be coming. So that will be a drive through.
So 73 car.
Yeah, sorry.
I beg your pardon, John. What I was going to say there was he stopped his pit stop, but of course they're not allowed to touch the car, not even to drag that grass away off the grill.
Right, okay.
So he was waved on his way again. So Marco Sievert is out now down toward the pit exit.
But he fulfilled what he had to do in coming in and stopping
at his pit
There's
stop.
not that much grass in there. He may have done a little bit of an emergency stop somewhere around the circuit to try and pull some of it out. All right, 3.5 minutes to go. One flyer, possibly two, depending on when you cross the line. There goes the Turner BMW. And with 3 minutes and 16 seconds on the clock as he goes through turn one.
All of these cars should have time for one more lap.
After this one?
Well, no, yeah, for 2 laps, yeah. Certainly for 2 laps.
So the 96
possibly 3
BMW.
So car 73 loses 2 fastest laps.
Yes, of course. Well
causing
remembered.
a red flag.
Well remembered. Well, he's sitting at the back. That's already been taken off, and he's sitting all the way down in 15th position, having got effectively no time at the moment.
So he's going to have to do 2 laps before he even registers on the scoring.
Correct. So Turner BMW, Robbie Foley, 3rd position, the 96, the blue and yellow car coming through the S's. Still slippery out there. Michelin tyres still coming up to temperature. They've been sitting in the pit lane for a couple or 3 minutes as well, so that won't have helped.
Despite which, he's just gone purple in sector 1. That's from the start finish line all the way down toward the end of the back straight before turn 4. So Robbie Foley on a really, really good lap. He's done a great job this weekend, along with Bill Oberlin, in this distinctive yellow and green Turner Motorsport BMW N6 GT3.
I think the Turner colours are great on any BMW. They really suit the big M6 coupe.
Richard Heistand now purple in sector 1 in the Lexus car number 14, and in sector 2 Zachary Robichon was briefly purple in sector 2 as Robbie Foley goes to the top of the charts with a 127.1. Into second place went Matt Plum in the McLaren at a 127.6, and ahead of them both is Robichon in car number 9 at 27.113.
And here comes that number 14 Lexus. Remember, they won here last year, and he goes to the top with a 125.8. I did say Richard had been impressing me this week. He hasn't had a completely perfect weekend, but he's been using his head and he's learned from any mistakes he has made. He's been very good in the conditions, and his teammate Frankie Montecalvo goes up into second. It's a Lexus lockout on the front row of GT Daytona.
That is impressive. Very impressive by both of those two. Great laps. Richard Heistand at a 125.885. Frankie Montecalvo in car number 12, 126.602. Zachary Robichon is 3rd fastest now in a car number 9, the Porsche, with a 127.1. Also a 27.1 is Robbie Foley in the BMW number 96, and the McLaren car number 76 of Matt Plum in 5th position.
Big moment.
Drive-through penalties for 96, 44, 9, 74 and 76.
Big moment for Christina Nielsen in front of Frankie Montecalvo as she was going in the braking area in the 57. That's the Caterpillar-sponsored MSR Lexus.
Robbie Foley serving that penalty now, but that's going to be the end of his session.
So he had to stayed out and done one more lap.
Yeah.
McLaren is in the pit lane. That's his drive-through. Number 9 has got through. So the number 9 Porsche, Zachary Robichon, has got through, and he's up into second.
Yeah,
and he's got 1 more lap.
0.008 only.
Sun's out.
Behind Richard Heistand, yes.
I think the 12 car saw the checkered flag. It did. Frankie Montecalvo, Highstand got through, and Zachary Robichon got through, but nobody else did.
There was an improvement for Montecalvo on that lap, but not enough to move him up ahead of the Porsche. So it's still Lexus, Porsche, Lexus at the moment, and the top two, 14 and 9, are still out on the racetrack.
And they will get these laps. They will get the laps. The plaid car, the checkered number 9 car in the I'm a Lumberjack and I'm OK livery is halfway around the lap.
But that does have to serve its drive-through penalty, and he'll effectively have to do that now, I think, won't he? Because I don't think he'll be able to take the checkered flag and then serve it.
I'd argue that one afterwards if
Well,
he's
yes,
up,
right.
if he's up, which I don't think he is. He's not up at the moment. But do you know what? He's not that far away. He was a little bit slower in the first sector. Richard Highstand, no, he's coming in, you're right. Richard Highstand, though, is on a much quicker lap. He's absolutely storming away. He's going to be pulled anyway. The question is, how fast can that Lexus go? He's in the final sector now. We're looking across to our left-hand side to pick up the bright yellow and black Bumblebee-style machine. He's in to the carousel. Does he stay out on the track? Yes, he does. He's the last man who can do the last lap. He's already got the number 1 on the side of the car, and he goes through and stops the clock in a 1:24.281. That is 1.6 seconds faster than the field.
And just ahead of him on the road, those were the last 2 cars to take the checkered flag. Just ahead of him on the road was Ben Keating in the number 33 Mercedes. He jumped all the way from 10th to 3rd on that final lap. A great effort by Ben Keating in car number 33, 126.1. He's still 1.8 seconds behind Highstand, but what a brilliant last lap by Ben Keating, taking advantage of that of those conditions on the last lap with the sun poking through. That'll give a good bit more track temperature. The Michelin tyres will have liked that, and Ben Keating did too.
Good fight back from Ben, who remember was off the circuit early on, kept his head, and therefore we've got a Lexus on pole position with a Porsche alongside. Richard